I'm at the ATHS 2019 National Convention in Reno, Nevada, and I'm standing against my 1966 Peterbilt 351A truck. This truck started life in northwestern Washington. It was ordered as a log truck, and it had been a log truck for a long time, I think till around 2010, until the owner that I'd purchased the truck from, Buddy Hone, did some pretty neat updates to it and added air ride suspension, so on and so forth. The truck's a pretty good truck. I'd been interested in antique Peterbilt trucks, particularly the little window, like narrow nose trucks, either Model 351 trucks or 358 trucks, and I'd been searching out parts to build one of these trucks for myself. I wanted as good of original parts as I could come up with, say a cab, a hood, so on and so forth, to maybe build a truck on a newer chassis, a 379 type thing with Cummins power, that kind of deal. And I'd happened to go looking for some parts and met a character through the HHS up in Mount Vernon, Washington, that had this truck. After a little while, we'd struck a deal up on it, and he seemed to think that maybe I'd be a good caretaker for it, and now I have it. And I'd done some changes to it, actually put the truck back to work, and it's been a good time. So to come up with some of the pieces and parts for this truck, typical of the truck I was trying to build, I'd met several guys through particularly the Cascade chapter of the ATHS, which is northwestern Washington, and they're pretty sharp guys about this stuff. They're very much into their Peterbilt trucks and knowledgeable about what they have. They've been able to supply parts to do whatever that I wanted, or maybe give me advice on what would work better or what would not work better. I take this truck to work most every day, especially when the weather's nice. I move around some pretty specialty construction equipment, namely portable traffic signals. I haul these to contractors all over the country, and I particularly like using this truck to do that. So, I mean, you might ask why I don't have a sleeper on it. Well, I like staying in the motel most nights, and that seems to work out pretty good. I do have intentions of putting a little Mercury sleeper on it, but the job that I have right now takes me some pretty interesting places, and I get to meet some neat people, and I have a good time with it. And I really like using this old-time truck, so I keep trying to backdate the truck a little bit more. Maybe, putting the older type seats back in it, the older steering wheel, that sort of thing. I've been involved with the ATHS, I think it's got to be near 10 years right now. I've been only to one other national convention, which was Yakima, Washington, I think in 2012. And these guys put on a dang nice show. These guys do a good job. I appreciate them putting on the show, and I also really appreciate the people that put the effort into these trucks to bring them to the show. These guys are from all over America, Canada. I mean, there's a lot of effort going into getting these things cleaned up, getting them moved across the country. I feel like the older generation of guys have some appreciation from the younger people, bringing the trucks here and being able to tell the stories of using the trucks, updating the trucks, maintaining the trucks, so on and so forth. There's some pretty good stories of, where they've driven them, what kind of weather, this, that. There's some young guys out there now that are willing to listen to that, and one thing that I think is really good is they're allowing newer trucks in here, which seem to be a little bit more attainable for the younger guys, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a historical truck. I've been involved with the Cascade chapter of the American Truck Historical Society for, I think around 3 years, which is kind of the closest chapter to myself where I live, and these guys are in northwestern Washington. So they're all a bunch of really nice guys. I've been trying to get involved in making a chapter that is close, Montana related, which there hasn't been apparently for quite a few years, and I seem to be generating some interest in getting that going. This is Buddy Hone. He's from Mount Vernon, Washington. This guy was the previous owner of the truck to myself. He done a lot of really neat updates to this truck and kept it going.
Yeah, this truck was a log truck all its life, and when I bought it, it was a complete log truck with the trailer and the whole bit. And so we stripped it down and shortened the frame 32 inches and stretched the wheelbase 12. Changed everything except the engine and the auxiliary transmission. And
Which has been changed now.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice, yeah. So, yeah, just pretty much did everything to it. All new plumbing, all new everything, and interior, and everything but paint job.
So, buddy, what's the allure of having a truck of this age? What does that mean to you to see a truck like this and see it still going down the road?
I grew up in a truck shop, and I worked on these when I was just a kid. And so I fell in love with them way back then, so it's just kind of a passion. And yeah, I've always wanted one, and then when I found out about this truck club deal, this ATHS, I just said, really? There's other people like me that can, because I had never wanted to, I'm a mechanic, I didn't really want to be a trucker, so I drove, but never for, full time, and so then when I found out this was going on, then I got into it, and now it's like a sickness. I still own 3 of them. This truck originally had a 335 Cummins with a 5 and a 4, and then when I bought it, the guy had pulled out the 335 and put a 400 big cam 2 Cummins in it with a 9513. Well, when I got it, he said it was a new transmission, but it was pretty bad, so we pulled it out. I put a 146 in it, and then yeah, just one thing led to another, and yeah. $40,000 later and 300 hours labor, here it is. When I sold it, this had 658,000 original miles, I believe, and it was all as a log truck. It never had a 5th wheel on it. Yeah, it was a Whatcom County truck, and I live in Skagit County, and there's a log show in Whatcom County every year. I used to take it up there, and all these old boys would come up to me and go, oh, I know this truck. I used to load logs on this truck, I go, it's kind of cool, so everybody likes seeing it. And I guess the guy who bought it new was a pretty cool guy, and he went from a Mack to this Peterbilt, and so, yeah, it's got a lot of history.